So I've been seeing videos online lately talking about Donald Trump and the Insurrection Act and that executive order about whether Trump should invoke the Insurrection Act down at the border. And this bringing up a larger discussion about martial law and what could possibly happen if Trump invoked the Insurrection Act to put some U.S. troops down at the border in his little blustery show of force with, Mexico, and how he's trying to push 𝗤𝗪𝗡𝗍𝗏 around. But what I've noticed is a lot of people are just really high-strung, stress of Trump destabilizing the government and kind of grasping for power. A lot of people are really worried about him invoking the Insurrection Act and that leading to some greater sort of military takeover threat. We're talking about an abuse of the Insurrection Act, unlike, 1992 when George Bush used it. We're talking about if he went beyond that into some type of U.S. takeover type situation or trying to entrench himself in power, cancel elections, etc. And we discussed this at length last night. So I'm going to take you into the video and you can see what we came up with. Once again, guys, if you like the video, hit that like button, drop a sub, share it, and thank you so much for watching. This is 𝗡𝗅𝗪 on Trump in 2018. Let's see this real quick.
It's typical Trump. All bluster, very little substance. He talks a tough game, but then when pressed on it, he's an armchair tough guy. I hate to say it, but this is a guy who said that John McCain is not a war hero, yet he sought his own 5 military deferment.
Yikes. Yeah. He knows what Trump is. Isn't it funny, though, how these guys, they all know that Trump is a fucking weak piece of shit, and yet they all kiss his ass. So Trump is revoking security clearances. He's stripping security clearances of everybody. I mean, I know he's doing it. He's all bitter and shit. But I guess a lot of this is bothersome to me, stripping security clearances, because a lot of these people, not being able to have access, if they start operating outside the normal bounds, none of the people that might speak up about it are going to be able to know about this, or have access to that information. I feel like that's a little problematic. Dude, I've seen people, I've seen videos with the title of martial law and 420, but I'll be honest, it sounds a little stupid. I mean, it's Easter and Hitler's birthday fall on April 20th this year, so it's a weird convergence of dates. But is he really going to declare martial law on Easter? I don't know, man. The martial law thing just feels, we talked about this yesterday, and I'll say it briefly again. I feel like there are some fundamental issues with the whole martial law thing. I know that there's this fear, and I know that Trump wants to do that, but you saw what we just watched. Let's watch this 𝗡𝗅𝗪 clip one more time, okay?
It's typical Trump. All bluster, very little substance. He talks a tough game, but then when pressed on it, he's an armchair tough guy. I hate to say it.
Okay, so let's operate here. This is from his Department of Defense head. And follow me on this reasoning, because I'm going to wrap it up for you with a nice little bow. What 𝗡𝗅𝗪𝗧 said there is true, that Trump is an armchair bluster, okay? He's not a tough guy. He's actually way, way too worried about what people think about him. He's very fragile and he's very weak. And so the thing about it is, I believe for Trump, the threat of maybe he's going to declare martial law, or I really want to declare martial law, puts him in a much more of a state of power. And I think he likes people thinking that, man, he's going to declare martial law. That's why Bannon's out there. He's going to run for another term, right? He likes people thinking it. And he's raising money for his PAC because that gives him a sense of power of a tough guy. But here's the deal, guys. They have pissed off Canada, Mexico, Europe, all our allies are pissed off. America is 300 million people, 50 states. Each of those blue states and the blue cities in those red states all have critical infrastructure. To declare martial law and literally take over something the size of the United States is a massive undertaking that would in all likelihood lead to a lot of blue states fortifying their border with their military. There would be defections from the main military. There's no wartime. Our allies might get involved with California, New York, Washington, Oregon, and Illinois, Canada, Europe, and Mexico against Trumpy's little Maga squad. You know, the red states are kind of piss poor. They don't have the infrastructure to maintain a takeover of all the blue states. You know what I mean? Like, so it would, and that would be a point of no return. That, like, I don't think Trump has the balls for that. He has the military, but, like, dude, they've gotten rid of, like, all the fucking generals. You know what I'm saying? He has the military, but he doesn't know what to do with it. He's not a general. 𝗙𝗃𝗪's not a general. 𗗙𝗃𝗪 is a Fox News commentator. His head of the DOD has never led an army into battle. Like, you think 𝗙𝗃𝗪 is going to plan a military takeover? He'd be too fucking drunk to fucking plan a takeover of a goddamn fucking middle school. Like, these guys don't have any acumen, and Trump is a fucking chicken shit. And that is a point of no return. And the thing about this, guys, that, you know, I don't know if this makes sense to you, but if you want to be a dictator that's going to, like, militarily take over 300 million people in 50 states, that's a lot of work, guys. Think about how much work that is. Strategizing, planning, perfect execution, coordination. Look at how shitty they are just trying to deport some fucking people. Like, the type of planning and strategy to take over states that overpower you, because he's got the military, but California has some of the biggest military bases. And the fact that the global world might get into it, you know what I mean? Yeah, the economy halts. Like, dude, Trump wants to golf and be on Twitter. You think Trump is going to spend 3 years working 24/7 with a team of fucking generals to strategize like a takeover of a 300 million person country? Are you fucking shitting me? Dude, the guy's allergic to work, bro. Like, there's no fucking way he would ever have the dedication and the tenacity. That is work. Dude, he wants to drink 10 Diet Cokes and golf and do his little dance and have everyone clap for him. He's not going to sit in a bunker 24 hours a day strategizing military takeovers. You know what I mean? Like, dude, nah. I mean, they're going to loot us and they're going to try and, like, gut as many civil rights protections as possible. But I literally think that would be too much work. And I think the rest of the world would get involved. I just don't. I don't see him having the stones for it, man. That doesn't mean he's not going to, like, damage our country in ways that are going to take decades to fix. But the fact of the matter is, if the president uses the U.S. military against our own citizens, that is going to be an action in the court of public opinion that he can never undo. And now his little 28% of the diehard MAGA might approve of that, but most human beings in America, if the U.S. military starts gunning down their college students at a protest, Kent State people, no, I don't believe the country is going to support him if soldiers start shooting their kids. Mom and pop in Iowa, if their kid is at Ohio State and he gets gunned down because he was next to a protest and they have the military go in and fucking shoot that shit. Nah, dude, I don't believe Americans are going to take that. But again, though, if he tries to, like, take over the U.S. militarily, then guillotine his ass. I mean, you know, and that's not just Trump, that's anybody. Anybody who tries to militarily take over the U.S., any president, like, I don't have to be careful. That's, like, I'm saying the truth. Any human being tries to militarily take over the U.S., we can kill them. That is treason. That is defying the Constitution. Like, everybody in America, I think, would be down with taking the head of somebody who tries to militarily take over the United States of America from within. Using the military to kill our own citizens? Like, come on, bro. Like, are you kidding me? I'm not going to be careful. I will call that out. You try that shit, you're going in the ground. I'm serious. I will be an active member of the people that will put that motherfucker, whomever that is, Donald Trump or anybody else who tries to militarily take over this country. Like, nah, bro. And I am not alone. I bet a lot of them currently in the U.S. military who would defy an order like that. I know a whole bunch of transgender soldiers that would arm up. They'd be the first ones in. People that went to Iraq and Afghanistan. Oh, man. I am not afraid of Trump, dude. Like, let me just tell you, I am not afraid of this motherfucker or any of his goons. I am not afraid of these guys. I will fight these guys. Right now, he's been picking on people that aren't U.S. citizens, people that have green cards and shit. But let's see him grab somebody like me. I dare him to. And if Donald Trump thinks he's militarily taking over this country, nah, fuck him, bro. That would be treason. And the penalty for treason is you end up in the ground. And if he wants to test it, I say let him fucking try. I'm serious. Dude, and I'm not wrong in saying that, because there is no reason for somebody to try a military takeover of America. That is treason. I mean, come on, bro. Dude, this is our country. You cannot be a fucking candy ass about this shit. There are red lines, man. That's what America was founded on. America was founded on no. We don't allow people who are going to become president or a leader here and militarily take us over. Like, that shit, bro. Like, come on, man. Nah, it is not going to work out well for you. My suggestion is you got to stop being afraid of this fucking guy. And you got to also start, like, getting some fight in you to where you become a person that's not going to let that happen. All we need to do for that to not happen is we're not going to be the people that let that happen. And they're just trying to get you all scared and shit so they can loot you and take advantage of you. But like, you can't buy into that fear. And again, dude, the third term thing, if anybody tries to break the Constitution and get more than 2 terms, they're going to be open season on them. Like, I shit you not. That is against the Constitution. And it's very clear. And I know they talk about it because they want you to be afraid. So his little grabbing of power, you allow it because you're afraid. Oh, if I don't let him grab this, he might take the whole thing. But like that, dude, if he were to try to run for a 3rd term, I don't think he would survive that. If he just stays, then we go to war. Come on, bro. If he were to just stay, that is wartime instantaneously. The White House is getting fucking burned to the ground if he tries that. I don't think he wants to like be in a war. I really don't. He wouldn't be able to golf anymore. I don't believe that Donald Trump could take over California. I don't think he has the military might to take over California. I just don't see it. He certainly doesn't have the brains. Yeah, I'm not too worried. But I know he's like threatening. I mean, the real threat of Donald Trump is the, you know, the gutting of all our social services. Transgender people are under threat. Senior citizens, particularly like poor senior citizens of color, could die because of his like Medicaid and his fucking SNAP cuts and shit. But as far as a military takeover of America, I don't fear that at all. But I do worry about the old people that are going to die. And I worry about the transgender people that are going to suffer. And I worry about, you know, schools, young people that are going to be forced to read the Bible and shit in schools, and the dismantling of the school system and dismantling of the government that's going to take like 30 years to fucking fix. AOC is not disappearing. Bernie Sanders is not disappearing. Dude, he's picking on people with green cards that he can label as a Hamas supporter. Okay? When AOC, okay, I'll tell you this. You ready? When AOC ends up in the El Salvador prison, until that day, I'm not fucking getting worried. Okay, but remember Pam Bondi and Tom Homan? Oh, we're going to draft charges for AOC, right? And AOC's talking to 30,000 people in Denver. So, like, again, when AOC ends up in El Salvador prison, then come to me and we'll have this discussion. But short of that, short of AOC or Jamie Raskin or Bernie Sanders or high-level Democratic people being sent to El Salvador, when that happens, then we'll have a nervous party, okay? Let's go. But right now, dude, he's picking on the weak ones. I'm just saying, I think the real resistance people aren't scared of him. What we're more scared of is him wreaking destruction and consolidating power in a way that he tries to, like, undermine the elections, I think, is really what we got to look out for. But I really don't worry about him doing martial law. I mean, I'll be honest, guys, in a weird way, this may sound crazy, but from my perspective, I almost say, like, do it. Do it, Trump. I defy him to do it. I want him to do it because I feel like that would be the ultimate end of that motherfucker. Like, yeah, you think you're tough shit? Like, you think you have the stones? Like, I dare him to do that. I think it would be the end of him because I just don't think he has the stones for that. I think at his core, he is an incapable man baby that is allergic to hard work, and he's not tough, and he's not fearsome, and he talks about that shit because he tries to get people riled up, but the reality is he's not. And again, the curse of Donald Trump is he puts loyalty as the number one quality in the people that he keeps close to him. But any of you that know, if you have life experience, you know that people who put loyalty number one are always surrounded by incompetent people, because incompetent people use loyalty as a means of getting ahead. People who don't have skills and aren't good at what they do, they use loyalty to advance up the ladder, always. So people who put loyalty first, they always end up with the least competent people around them. If he tries a military coup of this country, he will end up in the fucking ground real fucking quick. I have no worries about that. Dude, the most competent generals in this country that have executed incredible campaigns, they all hate Trump. They do. They know he doesn't care about the Constitution. He belittles everything he ever believed in, and they would relish the opportunity at putting together a worldwide military force to fucking put him in the ground, dude. Dude, I bet some of them are just like, please give us a shot. Like, please do it. I shit you not. You know, there's some great military minds in America, and 𝗡𝗢𝗪 and Donald Trump are not among them. What is up, guys? Thank you so much for watching. You like the video, you want to support independent resistance media, you know what to do. Drop that sub, hit the like button, and please share it. And we do love our members, so if you want to become a member, it's another really great way to support. Thanks again for everything, guys. I'll see you next time. Let's go.